Hey there, I'm gonna show you how to make solar panels in a Satisfactory. I'm gonna start with a big disclaimer first. These panels are not functional. They will not generate any energy. They are just for decoration. Now the developers already told us that we will not be getting green energy in the game, as that doesn't really fit with the vision of the game, where you come into an alien planet and just demolish everything. So this is the only way you're gonna get it. Alright, let's see what we have here. We have here 6 solar panels on poles and 2 on the rooftop. Well, these 2 are just not connected to anything. But on factories you often see these solar panels on poles. And I figured that's the one most people would want to make here as well. Because most factories, like mine, that disgusting box over there, is flat on top. So what do we have here? We have one solar panel, we have a pole, and we have a connector for energy. These cables are just decorative as well. Now down here we have a few things. First of all, we have a subscribe button, which you should definitely click on. Then we have a battery, percentage thing, screen, control panel, whatever you want to call it. Then we have a warning sign, and here's the home battery. It's supposed to represent a battery. So I didn't go into the detail of this battery. If you have any ideas, please leave it in the comments. I'm very curious what you would think, or if you have found something yourself. Alright, so how do we build these solar panels? They are not that difficult to build actually. They are just billboards. In this case it's a small billboard. And all we do is set some colors for the text. We set the background to none, and we add some text. These are Unicode characters that you can add to make, in this case, a grid pattern. We set emission strength to 1. We make it glossy so it looks somewhat glass-like. And we set the layout to this one, full text. So no icons, just full text. And that's all there is to it. Then we have these poles. These are not traditional poles that I used. These poles you cannot actually get in the game, but I will show you how to get them anyways, because there is a little trick to that. Alright, let's go down here to the blueprints. I have a few blueprints already. As you can see, I am using this one on the roof there. Just a small pole and a billboard. I didn't have the connectors here yet, but I will show you how to add them. Then I have another one here on a different angle and slightly higher, I suppose. And then I have this one. It's more like a bulky one. Feels more factory-like industrial. But the poles you can choose yourself. You can also use the metal beam if you like. They are quite alright as well. Something like that. I also tried using the, what do you call them? Logistics, and then the conveyor pole. These ones. They are basically the same as these. But the conveyor poles are thicker. And they have a bracket on top, and these poles don't. And I will show you how to get these poles without a bracket. Alright. So, first things first. You have a small billboard. You make sure you have one first. Like, put it somewhere outside of your blueprint thing. Then set the colors to these colors. You can also choose your own colors if you want. Black background also looks nice on solar panels instead of like bluish. Like this left one is now black and this one is bluish. But yeah, the colors are up to you. I am just using these ones. Alright, so we have a small billboard. So what I do is just place one over here, that's fine. To prepare this billboard, we're gonna do a few things here. Like I said, the colors we need to change. This is the foreground, so that's text. This is the gradient in this case, but I'm gonna just put foreground as well. And we're gonna set this one to the background. Okay, set color. I'm gonna remove the icon, go to backgrounds, select this one, none, select icon, and background icon, both none. Leave the text for now, set it to glossy, change the layout to this one, full text. And now we can change the text. I will add the text in the description below and a link on where to find these characters as well. If you want to try out yourself a few things, then you can check there. So I'm just gonna paste it all inside here. And that's our grid pattern already. Make sure there is no line below, and that should be fine. So all we have to do is that, then press X to escape. And now we have our solar panel already. Now we just need the pole. Now the pole is already actually from the billboards themselves, as you can see on the back here. These poles I am using as well. You can't actually grab them, like you can't middle click them. So there is a little trick to it. If you delete it, you can see that the orange hologram of the removal goes through the line here as well. So if you go over it, you can actually just delete the pole instead, and then you have just a floating billboard. But what we want is the opposite. So I'm just gonna do this. And I'm not gonna remove it, but I'm gonna go into my dismantle mode. And now I'm using middle mouse button to actually grab that object. Like when you're trying to copy something like this, using your middle mouse button. The same I'm doing here, but it needs to be done when you're in dismantle mode. It doesn't work if you're just trying to do this, it doesn't work. Go into dismantle mode, middle mouse button, and now you have it. You can even change the height as well. And then all you have to do is just place it below the sign where you want it. So I'm just gonna start here for a new one. Just a small one. Now we need these billboards to be angled. By default you can't angle them like that. So we're gonna do a little trick here. Go to your architecture and get a painted beam. Go on the pole, go upwards, like right on the height of the pole as well. And now go left or right, doesn't really matter which way. And now before you click, you have to rotate it first. Choose the angle you want, it doesn't really matter. So once you have chosen the angle, click it. Then you grab your panel. You move it around. So it's perfectly on angle and in center as well. You click it. Then you remove the beams. We can go here because we already set this one. Copy settings. Paste the settings here. And there's your solar panel. Alright, for the connector behind the panel, we're gonna add 2 road barriers. Like this. Right in the center of the pole as well. And another one on top. Now grab your connector. And place it here. Now you can actually place it. And remove the barriers. There's your connector. And that is your solar panel. So you can angle it any way you want. Just by angling or pivoting, rotating the painted beam a bit more or less. Now if you want to have these cables as decoration as well, you can. All you have to do is just connect one row of panels together like a daisy chain. And then all these rooftop connectors will come together to one, and then will go to the battery. So how do we place these? Because you can't really place these at all. For that we have to remove the roof first. Go into your architecture and grab the walkway intersection. Place it somewhere alongside the wall. Now go back to your architecture again, grab a painted beam, and you can see on the side you can actually maneuver the painted beam on the height relatively freely. Like, it doesn't snap, you can do it freely. So what we want is like barely above or perfectly straight with the roof. You place it like that. And you go all the way here. Now you can actually place one on top. Like so. And now you can all daisy chain the connector from the solar panel to the main one. And the main one of each row goes to the battery. With this one you can do basically the same thing. So you remove this this rooftop. You just do the same again. Walkway intersection. Place a beam. Like somewhat so. And there's a few things here to note. It doesn't go straight into the wall. So you have to go once this way. And then when you're in the wall, like that, go outwards. So you have a beam on top of the wall. And now you can place one here as well. These batteries are just pillars. You can make them easily like that. Put 3 pillars next to each other. Give them a nice paint job and then that's it. If you want a connector on top of the battery, like inside, you can do that. With that you need to remove the middle one. Make an intersection between the left and the right one. Like so, on this height. Then grab a connector and then put it on top. And remove this beam. Replace the beam that you just removed earlier. And repaint it. And there we go. Now we have a connector as well on top. So for these signs, if you want them, this one is easy. This is just some colors, a warning icon, no background, no emission, glossy. That's all. And layout, just the icon. For this one, I'm using the same trick as I did with the solar panels. But this is a bit more tricky because you're also using text. So we have an emoji here, a sun. We have a battery percentage bar. We have a percentage value and we have some text. And around that we just make some nice boxes. The problem here is that these characters are all the same width and height. That's fine, they will not cause problems if you just use those. But if you are adding text, they are all different kinds of width. Like the R is very short and the B is a bit wider. So that's gonna give problems with the spaces in between. So you might get problems like unaligned bars on the left and the right. To prevent that, we use different kinds of spaces. Like for example, in between this one. For this line, I have 2 different spaces here. So I have a big one, you can see here. It snaps. That's a big space, but I also have a very tiny one, as you can see. So a big one and a very tiny one. They are both spaces, they are Unicode characters, but they have a different width. And therefore you can play around with that to make the boxes align properly when you're using text. But again, if you're not using text, if you're just using these blocks, then it should be fine. Same thing with emojis, they are also different width. So make sure to properly do the spaces here. So in this case I have a lot of small ones. And here I have just lots of big ones. Basically the same as this, but spaces instead of bars. And with the B I have just small ones as well. So you have to play around with that. I'll give the Unicode characters in the description below as well. So you will have to play around with that. I'll give the Unicode characters in the description below as well for the spaces. There are 3 different ones. And I will add this text as well in the description so you can copy and paste it. Hopefully it works. To make these solar panels on the rooftop, it's the same trick with the beams. Like you would put a beam somewhere over here where you want the solar panel to be. You move it to the left, you rotate it a little bit to the angle you want. It's not a perfect angle, as you can see on the side, if it doesn't go away. As you can see on the side, it's slightly angled downward. So that's the reason why these are also slightly angled downward. So if you place another one below here and then another one below that, it will go below the roof. That's because the beam doesn't perfectly rotate exactly like you want to. But it's good enough, so you will have to do this a few times. Just place some bars. Put the solar panel on top. Like so. You can just copy this one. Paste it here. Done. Now remove the beam. Unless you want the beam to stay, but I like it without. I hope you liked it, and if you have any suggestions or ideas or inspiration for me, then feel free to leave it in the comments. I will definitely read it, and hopefully I'll add it in my game as well. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos, because I will be making more videos of creative ideas that I can think of. And hopefully you can give me some as well. Goodbye.